championship. We're down to 4 women's teams and 4 men's teams. And my partner, Bill Shearhart, and I, Jerry Sundwall, are here to announce the 1 versus 4 games on the women's side. That's Ontario and British Columbia. Bill?
Hi, Jer. Jerry, ask me where the British BC team is from.
BC team. Where is the BC team from?
Chilliwack.
Chilliwack.
I love saying Chilliwack. Actually, it's an amalgamation of some from Richmond on the Lower Mainland and Chilliwack, which is partway up Highway 1. And the Ontario team is something of a local group of female curlers. Sue Martin, I think, hails from the Elmira Curling Club.
Elmira Curling Club, yeah.
That's where I started, so you can blame them. And as people who have followed these broadcasts, we will be using the terms clockwise and counterclockwise as opposed to in-turn, out-turn. I don't think we have any left-handers, but it doesn't matter.
We don't on the Ontario team, and I don't believe on the BC team neither. So we've got rocks drawn into the house, rocks taken out of the house. This is a winner of this game goes on to the gold medal game. Just to do a quick update, the other semifinal on the women's side is Saskatchewan against Manitoba. They played one another this morning, as did Ontario and BC. So we have a repeat of the last round robin game for both these teams. On the men's side, we have Prince Edward Island playing Alberta and Northern Ontario playing Saskatchewan.
That's right. These teams on the women's side did play one another.
They did.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. It was kind of a warm-up. But was there some implications for last rock advantage and that sort of thing?
Ontario finished in first place. There was a 4-way tie between the 4 teams with the same record. And Ontario got first place because of the LSD.
Last stone draw. And, of course, they measure with laser measures the distance from the inside edge of the rock to the pin, and they have 2 players that deliver the rock each time, and it's become very important. Well, we saw how important on the women's side because it ranked the teams.
Now, because of Ontario finished first, they had a choice of last rock or rock color, and they chose rock color.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Usually it would be choosing last rock advantage in the first end. You know, sometimes teams choose color just to put the thought in the other team's mind that maybe their color is somewhat suspect. Do you think those ladies from Ontario might have done it for that reason?
Nah.
No, I don't know.
Nah, they just like that color because it matched their uniforms.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So we have a center guard for Team Ontario, and BC has a. It is BC this time, isn't it?
It is BC.
Yeah,
yes, supernatural BC.
Yeah. At the back of the 12-foot, and Ontario is going to play a draw around the center guard. Or she's going to crash the center guard.
I was Brenda Clark, and her home curling facility is the Air Curling Club, which is west of Kitchener-Waterloo. Fine 4-sheet facility. And the other 2 members of the team are from the Galt Curling Club, I believe.
We have Elmira, Galt, St. Thomas, and Air.
Oh, St. Thomas as well.
The skip, Dale Curtis, is from St. Thomas.
Oh, right, Jim White country.
Yep, Jim Lyle country.
Right, and Jim was the skip of the Ontario host team on the men's side.
Yep. So we moved over that center guard of Ontario's, and BC jumped all over it. They drew top 4-foot, biting the button. So they're lying too. That's in a great spot.
And this is the Galt Curling Club representative, Rosemary Gowman.
So she's playing a hit on the second shot rock. Interesting strategy without hammer.
And for those just joining us, the host facility is the Guelph Curling Club in southern Ontario. An 8-sheet facility, great sheets of curling ice. The rocks have been great. The ice has been great, very consistent. This is the first time we've had a look at sheet 5. We've been looking at sheet 4 all week.
So Ontario, by taking that second shot rock out without hammer, are basically saying, I'll give you 2, but I won't give you 3.
I think I'd have been a little stingier than that. Maybe 1. Dale Curtis is asking Rosemary to remove that rock using a counterclockwise rotation. We would call that outside in because the rock is curling from the edge of the sheet of ice towards the center, a little bit more consistent, not quite as much curl. Rosemary is not wide, that's for sure, and just catches a corner of it, moves it out of play. So BC has that one rock behind cover just off the button.
I expect... Nope, she's going to the side. I thought she might go behind.
Well, if she went behind, it would be a little bit risky, but certainly 3 would be in play for sure. And it's still in play. I think the thinking here is to keep Ontario occupied away from that 4 foot for a period of time. I think you're going to see the BC skip move into that 4 foot area once we get a little bit closer to her rocks. And as you can see, the rocks are directly opposite one another. That removes any thoughts of a double. The weather this weekend is very conducive to good curling ice conditions. Earlier in the week, especially Thursday, as Jerry mentioned in our broadcast this morning, we had all 4 seasons on one day. Ice technicians do not like it when the humidity and the temperatures change like that. But there's nice clear sky out there, the sun's out, but it's cool, which is perfect.
Nice shot by Dale Curtis. She cut down her weight a little bit, and now the skip, Janet Klebe from BC, is going to play a takeout on that shot.
The more aggressive call would have been to go around that red rock that's providing cover for the BC shot rock that's just off the button and really set up the 3, but of course you run the risk of opening it up or setting up a double. It's risk versus reward, and she's decided to play the safer shot. The BC team has a certified coach, Victor Shimizu. Known Victor for a number of years. Really, really experienced, fine coach in the Lower Mainland. Again, we see the tactic as an outside-in takeout, a counterclockwise rotation.
Sweepers went to work early, just cleaning now. Rock's hanging out a little bit.
Now, we've mentioned this before, that when you brush a takeout, the most effective brushing on a takeout is early, but if you jump it early, the way the BC brushers did, you can lose it, and I think that's what happened here, Jerry. So if you're going to brush a takeout early, you better be right.
So Dale can see a little bit of this rock. Not sure what kind of shots she's playing. She's got about, 3 feet ice? 2.5 feet ice?
Yeah, I don't think she cares much about getting shot. I think she wants to freeze in the
come
corner
on top of it,
and just cut the scoring area down and make it more difficult for Skip Klebe to score 2 on this first end. Can't bounce. Don't want to leave it in the open.
It's like a lot of weight.
I don't like Skip Curtis's body language.
No. There she goes. Hack weight on that one. Wasn't even close. So advantage to BC.
Hit the paint, score 2.
And they jumped it early. Weight looks good.
It's pretty good from this angle. Here we go.
Score 2 for BC.
And the ladies from Richmond Chilliwack jump out to a 2-0 lead in this, the first end of the semifinals of the Canadian Masters from the Guelph Curling Club. 8 end games, of course.
Eight in games, 30 minutes of stop time, 2 90-second timeouts. The team had a little huddle. Team Ontario had a little huddle after that one, and I'm sure are planning their strategy. What do you think that strategy is?
Well, I think they're going to play green. When we talked about green, red, and yellow, I think you're going to see Ontario do everything they can to promote a scoring opportunity. And I would be wrong if they're calling a takeout here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ontario women's team have told Jerry and I we were wrong on our strategy once
right.
before, didn't they?
They did.
And I think the reason she did that, she just wanted to move that rock off the forefoot, which is one of the reasons why Janet Klebe, the skip of BC, put it there. They just weren't comfortable playing a corner guard when the opposition, already up by 2, had a rock in the forefoot, just flat have to get it off the forefoot. She still might play green and promote a scoring opportunity.
Well, we got a rollout here, if not a miss, so.
Now we'll really see the cards. Now she tapped the top 12. I'm not sure she really means into the house. I think the tolerance here is to put up a corner guard. clockwise rotation.
Lots of weight.
Now it's still in the house, but it would have been much more valuable had it been in a corner guard position, I would suggest. And clearly BC is going to remove that rock. Again, we see with an outside in tactic, in this case a counterclockwise rotation. A little bit straighter, a little bit more controllable with the brushers.
Okay, another hit and roll out. Ontario has another opportunity to. She's changing the other side, but she's playing in the house.
Playing in the house. Right. A little bit of a struggle with the weight control, Jer.
Yeah, they're not close. That one's through the rings.
A relatively new rule change of a few years ago, when a rock crosses the back line, as soon as it crosses the back line, it is out of play. And under the old rule, if it spun back and was on the line or across the line, you would leave it, but no longer. As soon as it crosses the line, it's removed from play.
Well, there's a split 14.25.
That's right up.
It's about the same as it's been most of the week to start. So
the ice has been very consistent. I haven't heard one negative comment about ice or rocks. And these are very experienced, skilled curlers. Lots of experience here. These athletes must have reached the 60th anniversary of their birth. Ontario is struggling.
they are, yeah.
And they got to be careful. With 8 end games, they're already down by 2. They can let this game get away from them very quickly.
That's essentially 4 misses in a row right now. So 3.5, 1 hit and roll out.
Not that we're counting misses, but you are right. BC will want to cover this in some fashion, but they don't want to leave a long guard. That would tend to help Ontario, want to bring it into the house. Pretty hard to ignore 2 rocks in the 4-foot, and certainly Skip Curtis has no intention of ignoring them.
That overcurled a little bit.
Now, that's interesting. When 2 rocks are right side by side, I know they're not touching, but if they weren't actually touching one another, what is the best way to remove both those rocks?
From the side.
One of them on the side. The tendency is to try to hit them both in the middle.
Very difficult
That's
shot.
really hard to do.
Very difficult shot.
Yeah, very difficult. And you see, that's what often happens.
Yeah.
You hit one before the other, and you can see the result. But Ontario has a rock in front of the BC yellow rock, so they've got a little bit of protection from the back. So certainly Skip Curtis is not totally unhappy with that result.
So BC is trying to figure out what they're going to do here. They're going to play the guard or they're going to play the pick on that red rock. The call is to throw a guard up front. They're lane 1. This guard has to be good though, or Ontario has an easy shot to hit 2. Looks like we got an overcurl now. Yeah, the red's wide open.
Well, it's certainly available. They should be able to see at least half of it, the correct half.
Yeah.
We've made mention of this a few times this week. The most misplayed shot in our game, in my opinion, is a guard because it almost always overcurls. You should have to take enough ice so that it needs to be brushed into position. If you hope it stops, chances are it's going to go too far. And we saw that on that last shot.
Line looks real good.
Well, they didn't move the BC rock, but they have 2 rocks in the house. And their second shot and fourth, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And Rosemary did not throw that really hard, and she didn't look wide to me. I thought it would curl a little bit
Just
more.
didn't finish for her.
Yeah, I thought she had the shot.
No, Rosemary has a very big rotation of pop release on it, so hers tends to run a little bit straighter.
And it sure did there.
I played with Rosemary this year and senior mixed, and
So they had asked every other skip and got turned down?
I played second.
Oh, I see.
I'm a second.
Oh, a miss over here by PEI in the game with Alberta on the men's side. And they've kind of traded misses over here. I've been watching that game. And that's a first-fourth game as well, I believe.
Sheet 7 is the first fourth.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Saskatchewan was leading the pack all week, and they lost that last game and dropped from first to fourth.
Ooh, really? Oh, gee. I did not know that.
And in that game, they're playing Al Hackner from Northern Ontario, and Al Hackner has taken a 3-0 lead after the first end. And is currently line 3.
Ontario is down 2, and they are looking at 3 yellow BC rocks. So Skip Curtis is going to earn her money in this end.
So she's playing a straight run back on that top yellow one. She's got quite a bit of ice, though. I don't think she can see any of that rock.
No. That is completely hidden.
Kind of ice. You can still see the pit. I say the kind of ice. I don't know if you guys saw one of his draws. I saw it earlier in the week. Sweet. I think it was sweet. They were up. Yeah. They were at the top of the button. All he had. The hidden part of the side of the button.
This one's curling more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the jam.
Stuffed it.
Stuffed it right. And as Vic would say, BC sitting the 2.
The 2.
I don't know what this "the" means. Is that different from just 2? It's the 2. Well, Ontario is officially in trouble.
Well, they haven't made a complete shot this end. So
I wasn't looking at the flag.
So I suspect Dale's going to have to make a good draw here.
And that draw almost has to be on the clockwise side, so skip Janet Klebe of BC is going to try to shut that down, I'm suspecting.
That's what it appears to be.
And if she does, I'm not sure what Dale's going to do.
Mistake here is heavy.
Well, we hear the skips behind us calling the shot. Well, if you're going to get it back, get it right back.
Yeah.
That is clearly outside execution tolerance. As Jerry said, anything short would have been fine. But it's still not going to be an easy shot for skip Dale Curtis of Team Ontario. She's going to have to pretty much touch the button. And it's the small buttons.
It's a very small
the
button.
The real
here.
buttons, not the manhole covers that we see on TV.
No.
So actually right now, Dale Curtis is looking at 5, 2 on the scoreboard and 3 in the house.
Yeah, they weren't the only ones.
Give this to the brushers.
So the last one we saw her throw was pretty heavy. So
well, she's definitely not as heavy. Heads up, ladies.
Have a look.
Heads up.
Have a look.
Heads up.
Have a look. Have a look.
Whoa, is that any good?
Great shot.
Oh, that made up for a lot of misses. Full in half.
So that's a score of 1 for Ontario. After 2 ends of play, we have British Columbia 2, Dale Curtis 1.
And BC having last rock here in end number 3. If you're going to go into the tank and not play very well, do it with last rock with a skip who can draw the button.
That covers up many sins.
It does, and it did. Sue Martin delivering the first rock of the team from Upper Canada. A clockwise rotation, and I'm suspecting Dale will want this on the center line.
They're sweeping it right into the rings.
Well, since it wasn't going to stop on the center line, I would have done the same thing. Because the worst thing is for it to cross the center line. Now, there's that guard thing about curling too much. Because if that had gone into the free guard zone area, it would have been a rock useful to Team BC. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they sensed that and brushed it into the house for that reason.
That rock is in the rings. So on the game between Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan took 1 on the second end. Northern Ontario leads that game 3-1 after 2. Alberta and Prince Edward Island. Alberta took 2 in the second end. They lead that game 2-0 after 2. When we go over to our Saskatchewan-Manitoba game, Saskatchewan leads that 2-0 after 2 ends. And Sue made a good hit.
Now this is very interesting because that rock was just partially in the 12 foot. That rock is still protected. And I think Skip Klebe didn't realize that. That rock is still in the free guard zone under the free guard zone restriction. And that's one of the reasons why the worst place to put a rock sometimes is just biting the 12 foot. Because if the opposition hits it on the nose, their rock is now protected.
So we've got a BC rock sitting in the 12 foot.
Brenda Clark being asked for a takeout with a clockwise rotation. She has had that delivery as long as I've known her. Get a good delivery and it can be a lifetime delivery.
Okay, that rock is biting the top 12 foot. A request to take that one out and roll into the rings.
This is Jane Adams, second player for Team BC.
Good roll. Partially covered. See about half that rock, eh?
Yes? Yeah, actually a little bit more than half the rock. But again, it's on the outside. And so if you hit it, you're just going to roll out.
So Dale Curtis requested Brenda Clark to run that red rock back onto the yellow.
Doesn't make the run back, but opens it up.
Hangs on the side. BC's calling for a draw.
Yeah, they want to make use of that rock. Use it for protection. Good call. And BC could have just simply put up a corner guard on the rock that's in the 8 foot. That was certainly another option to skip Klebe, but they've decided to play to the red rock. But boy, there's an awful lot of curling required here. Like we need another 5 feet now.
Well, it did stay on the rings for a second shot, but
Dale would like to see a takeout and roll over towards that other yellow rock. I don't think they have any designs on a double. It'd be awfully thin. Just hit and roll to the left.
it's playing this one the inside out, clockwise rotation. We've seen most of their shots down here and takeouts with the other turn.
Don't think there's any roll here. Actually, a little bit the other way. This is third Kerri Miller of the team from Richmond and Chilliwack. And now we see that outside in takeout, Jerry.
If you throw it clean, this is a more predictable takeout. Take ice beside the rock, but if you're going to flare it, it'll make you pay.
Well, she's not narrow.
Good throw.
That looks pretty good. BC line 2 and up 1 in the scoreboard. Third end, semi-final, Canadian Masters, Guelph Curling Club.
Their deals changed her turn. Got narrow ice. Rosemary throws a little pop release, so she'll give her narrow ice and she'll put a good rotation on it, and it should track.
And the brushers tell you everything. There's the roll that we were looking for on Rosemary's first shot. That's an excellent shot.
It's a great call. Great throw.
Now it's a little bit problematic for the BC team. They need the takeout, but they have to avoid the jam.
I like that outside in throw down there. It's better action on that one for sure.
Again, Kerri Miller, third, BC. It looks pretty good. Now they're lined up, and a run-back double is certainly available to Skip Curtis.
Hit that one on the nose.
And, of course, Rosemary set that up with her nice roll over there.
Sure.
And again, we see the outside-in configuration and clockwise rotation. Dale wants to hit this just off the nose to send that yellow rock back at a slight angle, clip the side of the yellow rock that's behind, and Ontario would be line 2.
It's curling.
No
Gotta
double.
go
that's for
hard
sure.
to get a piece.
I think she was a hair light, Jerry.
I think she was light for sure.
And again, for you recreational curlers out there, when you are asked for a takeout, I know you want to hit the brush. You always want to hit the brush, and you tend to make that go to the head of the class on a takeout, but you still have to deliver the weight the skip has asked, whether it's solid board or control takeout or full takeout or peel. It's going to make a difference to the amount of curl in the shot, and more takeouts are missed, not because you missed the brush. You missed the takeout because you threw the wrong weight. And Skip Klebe is going to want to separate these two BC rocks and go back to the right side of the sheet. Another score of 2 by BC would certainly put them into a control position on the scoreboard. Clockwise rotation draw. Wants to stop somewhere around the center line, I'm suspecting.
Good draw.
Excellent draw. If this was later in the game, you might see Skip Curtis try to take this end away by freezing to the corner, but a little too early for that. But again, she's looking at a score of 2 for BC, which would put her down 4-1. And remember, it's an 8-end game, and we're already then playing the 4th end. So it's kind of getting to showtime for Ontario real fast. As Yogi Berra once said, it's getting late early. Foresters are not laying anything to this. Looks very much like a hit and a rollout. And a pretty simple draw for 2 for skip Janet Klebe of BC. And if this happens, I think Ontario needs to have an executive meeting.
They do.
Then Jerry's going to put the watch on this. We'll get the hog-to-hog time. And the reason that Skip Klebe is playing this shot is because that's the shot she just played. That always goes to the top of the list.
Just under 14 seconds. Score of 2 for, I think, what did they say back there? BC.
What was BC, people? I don't know.
Well, I hear the ones from
Vancouver Island, I know.
Chilliwack are worse.
Oh, yeah, Chilliwack. That's where I get all my turning wood.
Well, it's go time for Dale Curtis at this now. She's got to
let the dogs out. She absolutely has to score 2 this end.
Doesn't matter where this rock stops, she has to ignore it. Ignore it. And put up a corner guard.
Well, it looks like she's thinking of a different tactic. Just tap it back and already set up the jam, but then you've got no rocks in the free guard zone, so it makes scoring 2 a little bit more problematic.
Got 2 rocks you can put up in that free guard zone that they can't hit.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
To set up your end. You come into the rings, difficult shot, freeze tap. Don't make it perfect. Over curling.
Skip Klebe is very happy to see this end being played in the house. That's what she wants. She's up 4-1. Boy, still struggling with the weight, Jerry.
Well, it's weight and line.
Yeah.
It's like that over curled and was heavy. So.
And the tolerance here is actually heavy. You do not want to leave any rocks in the free guard zone. This is a scoreboard strategy, of course.
For BC.
For BC.
Yes.
That's right, yes, for BC. If it comes right in and put 2 rocks in the 4-foot, that's great. That's why you're up 3.
So over on ice 2, Saskatchewan women playing Manitoba women. Saskatchewan stole another one on the third end. They're up 3-0 after 3.
That is not good. I know it looks like, well, we're covering the shot rock, but that gives the team that's losing a chance to get in behind cover. If they can freeze right onto that rock, they kind of got things going in their favor. I know it's early in the end, but Ontario needs to get something started.
Can they get it by? No. A lot of rocks over curling, Bill.
Yeah, the good thing is at least it stayed in the house.
Yeah. On sheet 6 in our men's semifinal game, we have Alberta against PEI. Alberta stole 1 1/3 to go up 3-0 after 3 ends. In our game between Northern Ontario and Saskatchewan, they blanked the third end. Northern Ontario leads that one 3-1. Okay, that was a takeout for BC. Over curled. Took their own rock out.
But jammed on it and actually rolled up to cover the pin.
Yeah.
I kind of think momentum right now is wearing blue and white.
So Dale Curtis has called for a shot around the yellow rock biting the top 12 foot. So the second and third shot.
So she's using that as a corner guard. A guard does not have to be in the free guard zone in order to be considered a guard. Is a good call.
Just struggling with weight. Line was really good. The good news is she got in there for second shot. Another 3 feet of weight, she could have buried it. So Janet Klebe, skip of BC, is playing a takeout in the second shot. At a 1 o'clock position in 12 foot.
Well, she's not narrow.
Whoa. Just about took her own out.
There's light at the end of the tunnel here for Team Ontario. So they have to take advantage of that miss.
Wow.
Even if Kerri was a little bit inside, she could have come off her yellow rock onto the red. Just couldn't be wide.
So Dale Curtis is ignoring the shot stone on the button, calling for a draw to the 9 o'clock position in the 12 foot.
I kind of thought she'd raise that rock back and put it behind the corner. This is just as good. Maybe a little easier.
So Ontario's laying second, third, and fourth shot. Lonely red, a yellow one in the middle.
Hi there, we're back. It wasn't a coffee break. We literally lost our power. Not the entire building, just us. So you can see the situation. Ontario is now in a shot position, and they are frozen against a yellow BC rock. We just had a timeout with the BC team talking to Coach Victor to decide what to do here, whether to guard that and potentially just give up one with a 4-1 lead or make a play on it. So we're now back live. Thanks, Jerry, for getting us back online. A quiet wait from BC. Just want to get some separation here and get another yellow rock in the conversation. Well, they've got that red Ontario rock surrounded, that's for sure.
That was a great shot.
Now, Ontario desperately needs to score 2 on this end. They do have shot.
Third, Rosemary Gowman in the hack.
Skip Curtis has asked Rosemary to come into a freeze position on that yellow shot rock, or yellow rock that was just shot. Sorry, red is shot. Ontario is lying 1. Down 3 on the scoreboard, in number 4.
Rock's on its way. Needs to curl a little bit.
It's not light, Jerry.
Well, she rolled in to lie 2, but
They're not going to be too much longer.
there's an opportunity for a double takeout here. But if she makes a double takeout, she rolls out, then there's still a hit for 3 for Dale Curtis.
But if you have a look at this configuration of rocks, if Skip Janet was to throw a vapor trail hit weight and hit that yellow rock on the left side that's in front of the red rock that's on the center line in the 4-foot, that red rock is gone. I think the yellow stays, and she would have perhaps kicked to the left and kicked that red rock sideways.
Yeah.
And there's very little opportunity here for, as you said, for a double and keep the shooter. I mean, that's not going to happen.
She's not playing that other shot.
No, she's not. I don't even think she looked at it. And not that that's the shot to play, although it is the shot I would have played.
Yeah.
So, nothing wrong with that.
Ontario line 1. It's a potential double here for 3 if she wants to take on the risk. It's just a little high side hit. Both those yellows should go. Her other option is to draw for 1, but
If she tries the double, the yellow rock that's biting the top of the 4-foot is certainly going to hit the rock that's on the other yellow rock that's biting the 4-foot. But then that yellow rock might be coming back to the red rock that's on the back of the 12-foot.
that's right. She didn't need that one anyway.
No,
It's-
that's right.
It's 4th shot, so
Yeah.
or 5th shot. So here's an opportunity for Dale Curtis from Ontario to get back in this game. She needs to execute this shot. Rock's on its way. Needs to curl. It's not curling.
She set it out just a hair.
Worst case scenario. Oh, those other ones.
Well, each skip has 1 rock to come, and of course, Ontario has last rock. This is the last shot for skip Janet Klebe of BC.
Ontario has 2nd and 3rd shot at this point in time, but she took on the risk and didn't execute. But I think it was well worth the risk.
Oh, I do too.
She just sat it out a little bit and
Yeah, she was just a hair wide, and it just wouldn't come back.
no.
Funny, that happens when you do that. Now there's a debate here. Skip Klebe is certainly in shot position, but they have to be very careful where they place this rock, because with red rocks lying around the house, there is the potential for a multiple score for Ontario still, even though it doesn't look great right now. And you can see Kerri Miller tapping the ice. That's where they want this rock to stop. Delivered by Skip Klebe. So they're going to try to protect that yellow-red combination.
Yeah. Skip Klebe's taking a long time to throw this rock.
Well, pretty close to the broom, or the brush, I should say. Pretty close to the spot of the ice that Kerri Miller tapped. Pretty nice shot. It's what they wanted. Careful what you ask for.
So there is a shot there for Dale Curtis still. That rock is partially open. She's got a narrow port to go through. So she has to find that port. She finds the port. She's got a possibility still of scoring.
Well, let me tell you what you just missed. You just missed a great shot, but we did describe the shot that Skip Curtis was playing. She had to just come through a very narrow port, just miss a guard, and just split the yellow rock off the face of her rock in the forefoot. And how did she do, Jerry?
She got through that port and topped it back and scored 2 points to make this a 4-3 game. It was a very small port. Excellent shot on behalf of Dale Curtis. That shot could turn their whole game around.
No kidding. That shot was worth 4 points.
I might even give him a bonus point on that one.
No, when I meant 4 points, I meant on the scoreboard.
Oh, absolutely on the scoreboard.
We give her 5 out of 4 for sure. So again, our apologies. We don't know what's happening here. Jerry thinks there's a wayward power bar that we've
the power is not going out in the building. It's just our computer. So just to give you a quick update on sheet 2, Saskatchewan playing Manitoba. Saskatchewan stole another 3 in the fourth end to go up 6-0 on Manitoba in that game. In the men's game, Prince Edward Island against Alberta, it's a 2-1 game. Prince Edward Island scored 1 in the fourth end. Northern Ontario against Saskatchewan. Northern Ontario scored 1 in the fourth end to lead that game 4-1. So now we're up to date. And our fifth end is underway.
And even with that great shot by Skip Dale Curtis, it only, and I say that with respect, it draws them to within 1, but they don't have last rock here in the fifth end. So there's still work to do for Ontario for sure.
Now Dale Curtis and Team Ontario through the center guard.
It's an interesting challenge now for Team BC because they've just had a great shot played against them. And they've got to park that. They have to look at that scoreboard and say, hey, if we knew that we were playing the fifth end up 1 with last rock, we'd have felt great. Well,
Yep.
That's the situation.
That's the situation there. Happy.
And there's that half in the 12-foot situation to which we referred earlier. If there is a nose hit with an Ontario stone, it will be in the free guard zone and cannot be removed. That's why it's so important for the brushers to let the person in the house know if that's a possibility so that they can get it right into the house.
And Dale gave Sue Martin a hit there from the center line in. Looked like she gave her 2.5 feet of ice. So I don't know if it was a weight situation or what, but it was definitely a drive-by.
2.5 feet should be a little much if you're throwing normal hit weight. So we see BC attempting to tap that rock back, and that would leave a corner guard and a rock fully in the house. And it looks pretty good. Not perfect, but certainly a productive shot.
So they're currently line 2. Dale Curtis, Team Ontario, called for a hit and roll by Brenda Clark behind the center guard.
The other semifinal game, Team Manitoba is in total charge in their game with Saskatchewan. So they kind of have 1 foot in the gold medal game tomorrow.
So there's a hit and roll, just rolled a little bit too far. It gives BC an opportunity to play this hit. She's called for a hit and roll behind the center guard. Sweepers are working hard, try to hold it. Got a little kick inside, but still leaves an opportunity for Ontario to make that hit and roll behind the corner guard, or center guard.
This is Brenda Clark.
This one's curling, going to hit the guard. Almost got lucky, but now BC has an opportunity to split the rings, draw 3.
This is Jane Adam from Team BC. Counterclockwise rotation. Try to place a rock on the edge of the house on the left side, as Jerry said, to lie 3 with last rock. And once again, I hate to say this if you're an Ontario fan, but you're officially in trouble once again.
70,000.
Well, Dale Curtis drew to the button in the second end to save her team. Then she made a great shot through the port in the fourth end to save her team.
I think it's time for the team to save Dale.
We'll step up.
Rosemary Gowman. BC lies 1, Ontario 2, BC third shot. And BC has to be a little bit careful how they negotiate this rock out of play. Be careful not to jam.
Get it high side and roll out would be fine.
Kerri Miller, third, BC.
They're going hard in this one right away. This may be a total miss.
Jerry's favorite phrase, drive-by.
Drive-by.
Now, that's a miss, but that's one of the benchmarks that we talked about. Ontario absolutely has to make this shot. They have to make BC pay. Clockwise rotation. Just nice, firm control weight.
Hit and stay.
Ontario lies 2.
Good shot.
Certainly, Skip Curtis would feel good about a force of 1 here and go down 2 with Last Rock playing in number 6. Remember, these are just 8 end games as opposed to 10.
So here's another one. Sweepers are going hard on it. Down the same line. They're working for a piece.
It's not a flash this time. She's
No.
got a piece.
Big chunk.
BC up 1 with Last Rock. Playing in number 5. Semi-final, Canadian Masters, Guelph, Ontario. The only territory not represented is Nunavut. Is that correct, Jerry?
That's correct, yeah.
Yes. Counterclockwise, outside in. Skip Dale Curtis, Ontario.
They've had a team at a number of the other championships.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. I've been to Nunavut on a few occasions. To Rankin Inlet. I was on the ice at the curling facility in Rankin Inlet. It was only minus 38.
Oh, wow. It's warm in there.
Yeah, there was no wind chill.
No.
We were
great.
inside. Delightful people in Rankin Inlet. They have challenges, there's no question. But I love those people. I love going there. I love to help them. I hope they feel the same way about me.
Yeah, well.
Jury's out. A hit and stick here would mean that BC is lying 2. And again, they are up 1 with Last Rock, 5th end, semifinal.
Yeah, that was a just not a good miss for Dale on that last one to hit and roll out.
This is not narrow.
Oh, she's waving hard.
Oh, this might be one of your drive-bys.
Oh, just a tick.
Are we into Alphonse Gaston country again, Jerry?
Here, you take it.
I don't want it. You take it. I do not want it.
So Dale's saying, I'll draw to the other side. If you can make this shot, you can have one. If you don't,
It's not the shot you make, it's how you deal with the shot you miss. Unless your team Gushu and you don't miss too many.
exactly.
Wonder how that 3-4 game is going, by the way. I think that's on right now.
Oh, could be.
Hey, if any of you out there on the chat line, if you let us know the score of that 3-4 game, we'll announce it.
I'm sure they're not watching it.
They'll watch here.
They're glued to their sets. Glued to their computers watching this game. All right, Dale's trying to draw to the other side of the house. Sweepers are on it. Cleaning. It's a good sign. Got it there. No double possibilities.
So Ontario has done their job, and they've done it in kind of an interesting fashion. A little help from their friends from the left coast.
So again, Janet is throwing the outside-in shot.
As opposed to the draw. Interesting.
Little less weight. Sweepers are going hard. She's missed this shot.
Oh, dear.
Totally missed it. Another drive-by. Wow. That's a steal of 2 for Ontario.
How many times did the complexion of that end change?
Steal of 2 out of nowhere.
Out of left field.
So that makes it a score of 5-4 Ontario after 5 ends of play.
Skip Klebe is going to have a little chat with herself. I think she's doing it as we speak. If I was Dale Curtis, I'd be saying to myself, we dodged a bullet. I heard the bullet.
So to update the other games, Northern Ontario took another one in the 5th end to take a 5-1 lead after 5. Alberta scored 1 in the 5th end to take a 4-1 lead after 5. And Manitoba scored 3 in the 5th end to half the lead to 6-3 for Saskatchewan. Now Dale's strategy is going to be different in this end. She now has the lead. First rock's in the house, top 4 foot. Janet Klebe says, I'm having none of this, I'm going to hit it. We got 3 ends left to play. The gods have changed in favor of Dale Curtis all of a sudden. So I wonder how Mo is going to react. That would be team momentum.
It certainly would. Right now, I'm not sure if Mo has either jacket on. I think we're waiting to see what happens here. I mean, it still is a close game.
Oh, yes.
And as you said earlier, I think the front end and the third for Team Ontario have to dig deep and realize that they're in this position thanks to a little bit of good fortune and a lot of great shots from the skipper.
So here's a good hit by Sue Martin.
She of the Elmira Curling Club.
Where I shall be attending tonight, presenting a banner for one of their provincial winners of their trophy team.
Oh.
Intermediate team. Should find that out.
Well, there may be some photographs still in the lounge at Elmira of a very young me Unless the police asked them to take them down. Not sure.
Well, they did do a remodel there, so.
Oh, I understand that. Right. Well, certainly Ontario is quite happy with this exchange of rocks. Although they're only up by 1. Given that it's a 6th end, I might have suspected that the BC team might have been a little bit more green.
Yeah, they're.
Try to promote a scoring opportunity. And they still might. They still might.
This one's an outside throw.
This is not narrow. Got enough of it.
That was a worry watch by the sweepers all the way down. And Skip BC is going to put up a corner guard.
I didn't think they could go through this whole end playing red and just in a sort of a defensive mode. I think they need to get their 2 on this 6th
Yeah,
end.
I think they need to go further too, for sure.
Good corner guard. We'll see what Dale does. And she certainly could peel it off. Maybe that's not one of the shots in Rosemary's arsenal. Not sure. So we're going to go to the open side.
Yeah, this is Brenda's throw.
Oh, sorry, Brenda. Sorry, Brenda.
Yeah, I think maybe if Rosemary in the hack, she might have peeled that one off, but.
And that's an interesting point. Sometimes the shot that you call is dictated by the strength of the athlete with his or her hand on the rock. Just as you said, if it was Rosemary, she might have played the peel. Brenda would be more suited to this type of shot. So, good strategy.
Got to play to the strengths of your team.
Absolutely.
Good draw. Hair heavy. Janet's going to ignore that. She put up that corner guard. I'm going to use it.
We've talked about that before too, haven't we?
Nice to see. This draw is tight. Sweepers are working to try to hold it. Didn't move very much down there.
No, it did not. On my team, they sometimes say, hey, Bill, we can play this shot or this shot. Which one would you like to play? I say, well, it doesn't matter. I can miss either one. And then they'll say, Bill, be more positive. Okay, I'm positive I can miss either one. They don't get the humor either.
I don't know. I'm not sure that's the motivation your team needs from a high-performance coach.
Oh, I forgot about that. Right.
Okay, Rosemary Gowman's in the hack. She would like to hit this rock and make a little inside roll. She's going to hit the rock.
You're right about Rosemary not being afraid to throw the vapor trail hit weight.
No, she can throw it positive. Problem she has occasionally is when she's got a real solid pop release and she pops it out and it'll run. And so Dale Curtis has to remember, give her tight ice.
So BC's going to try one more time to get around that corner guard. Change of the brush position by Skip Klebe. This rock is not light, Jerry.
The weight's pretty good. It's just not getting a curl in that spot.
I love it when two people, one from either team, are brushing the rock. I like to think one of you is wrong. Oh, Alberta's curling up a storm here in this other men's semifinal game.
Yeah, they sure are.
They're just not giving PEI much hope.
No hope at all.
Well, their skip is Bill Hope. Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing we have here. PEI always has hope. They got Bill Hope.
Oops. We give, we take away.
Now, this is interesting because if this is the third opportunity that BC has to get around that corner guard, and if they do, they set up a possibility of a 3 here, and this could be the Christmas tree.
Yep.
This is a more aggressive call. The reward could be better.
Their line's good.
That's a question of weight. The line is pretty good.
Just not there. Not there.
Ooh. Well, BC still does have shot rock. And Skip Dale Curtis is going to try to freeze on the corner of that BC stone. That's at about the 8 o'clock position in the 8 foot.
She's taking quite a bit more ice. So it's a different track. We'll see if it... Here's the rock from Dale Curtis again. Can she make the good shot one more time?
Well, the line looks pretty good, and
it's all a weight shot.
There's certainly enough weight. No bounce. Can't afford a bounce.
And didn't.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
The nice curl a little bit more, but that's a pretty good shot.
That's a pretty good shot. Yep.
Have a look at that from the overhead position.
No, that's a great shot. Yep. Looks better overhead, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, for sure.
Now, if Skip Klebe can just miss that yellow rock that's off the top of the 12-foot and somehow get to the inside of the red rock, there is the possibility with a back ring weight. She could move it out, move it back, and lie to. Very exacting shot. Not a lot of curl here.
This is the opposite turn she threw when she missed the shot at the last end, so.
Oh, she's not wide. Oh. This is going to be close to the guard.
No, it's running.
Yeah,
it's running very nicely.
Now it's kind of straightened up a bit.
Yeah. In fact, it straightened up too much.
Okay.
But she got the hit and roll in front.
They're playing in the high rent district, Jerry.
So BC's lane 1. Ontario's second and third shot. Dale Curtis is playing a draw tap down to that one, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Each skip has one shot to come here in number 6. Semi-final, Canadian Masters, Guelph, Ontario.
Over in sheet 7, Saskatchewan picked up 2 in the 6th end. That leaves Northern Ontario leaving that game 5-3 after 6 ends. Saskatchewan just made a last shot, score 3. That leaves them up 9-3 after 6 ends of play. Huddles forming. All right, Dale Curtis is coming in here. Her line is...
Line looks great.
Weight looks great. Good shot.
This lady came to play, Jerry.
Yeah, Dale's playing well today. So our game on sheet 2, Saskatchewan versus Manitoba, is over after that 3-ender. The final score in that game is 9-3 for Saskatchewan. So Saskatchewan will move on to the gold medal game tomorrow against the winner of our game, British Columbia and Ontario. And Janet Klebe's going down to the hack. She has an opportunity to tap this red back to score 2 points. Dales would have been a little bit better if she didn't tap that one at all, just come down on top of it, eh?
Yeah, you can move that red rock past the yellow, and you can get 2 here.
No. Good score of 1 for BC, I think.
1 for BC, yep. At least that's the way it looks on the overhead, Jerry.
And that's what Rosemary Gowman said, 1 for BC. It's a good shot. So after 6 ends of play, we have a score of 5-5, Ontario and British Columbia in the semifinal game.
Ontario with last rock in the penultimate end, or what could potentially be the penultimate end. Every draw I like to use a new word that I just learned.
It's good.
Today's word,
Sometimes,
penultimate. It's like Sesame Street.
sometimes you have to relearn those words too, I noticed. All right, the first rock is underway in the 7th end of our game.
And Dale Curtis has got to make a decision at some point whether she's going to try to actually score this end or blank the end and take last rock back home in the 8th end. Well, we'll see how this unfolds.
She's called the come around at the center guard.
Each skip is trying to figure out what the plan might be for the other team. This is interesting. This is fun.
It says tight to the guard. Just a little tap that one in.
This is Laurie Shimizu. Shimizu of Chilliwack. Boy, there's 2 great names. Eh? Love that.
So we've asked for a tap back on this one, and the line looks good.
Looks like BC is going after the steal.
Going full out aggressive.
Yep, Curtis is debating whether to try to open it up or take advantage of the fact that there's guards, which is certainly kind of aggressive. Now we're going to play the tap back maybe. It's a definite maybe. No, it looks like tap back.
Yeah. Line looks pretty good. Little over curl.
Jane Adam asked to remove that Ontario stone. Clockwise, outside in.
Good hit, little roll.
All right, going to roll inside a bit here. Not much. And there's that control zone about which we have spoken.
So we need a good shot from Brenda Clark here. It's called for a hit and roll behind the center guards. Tracking on her.
She's got it.
Little biter. Janet Klebe's not having anything to do with it. She's going to hit that and hopefully roll center. Got more room to roll now, so.
Jane Adam. Oh, she's a little out chair.
Yeah.
No roll inside, that's for sure. She just wants to make it go away now. There it goes.
So opportunity for Team Ontario. She could play around all those.
Well, she could. With the number of rocks that are there, I think I might just go around. What do you think, Jerry?
I would go around here. I mean, she's not going to be able to eliminate all those yellow rocks. She's going to leave a mess up there.
This isn't Brett Gallant. Due respect to Brenda. It's
Yeah.
not Brett Gallant. Now watch. She's going to make the triple peel.
I don't think so. I think she's going to peel off the top one and not touch the back ones.
Nothing wrong with that call. No, don't mean to be critical. Nothing wrong.
It's an opportunity to be aggressive, that's all.
Team Ontario has already taken us to task this week.
Yes, they have.
On our strategy comments.
Said, we're winning. We finished in first place. You guys are behind the glass.
Yeah, not playing.
Not playing. Call for a draw here. It's not curling. Fully in the 8 foot. Not a bad shot. Corner around that top red one.
Well, we're into thirds rocks now. That was Kerri Miller, third for BC. And this is Rosemary Gowman. The Galt import. But I see they're actually representing the Galt Curling Club.
They are representing the Guelph Curling Club.
I curled out of the Galt Curling Club for quite some time, and the club lived to tell about it. Back when it was down on Queen Square.
That wasn't a curling club.
Yeah, it was.
That was a barn.
No, it was the curling club. It was originally a barn.
That was an old barn with two lean-tos built under the side.
That's right.
And a lot of holes in it so the snow could come through. And what's there now?
A library.
Beautiful library.
Yes. They had the best fireplace. It was made of curling rocks. And when they built their new facility, they moved the
whole
fireplace.
fireplace.
Yes.
It's still there in the new.
But I don't think it's a
Curling Club.
functioning fireplace, is it? At the new
I
place?
think it's a decoration.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just decorative. Yeah. Played with my friend Ken McKenzie. Miss Uncle Kenny a lot.
So on sheet 7, we have 7 ends completed. Northern Ontario took 1 on the 7th. They lead Saskatchewan 6-3, playing the final end. So they decided to run this red one back rather than try the tricky shot at the side, which probably will roll out. This could give them an opportunity, give them some rocks to play with when it's done.
Score is tied here in this semifinal game at the Canadian Masters. BC versus Ontario. Ontario having last rock advantage. BC lying 1. Ontario second shot, top 12 foot. This is third Kerri Miller's last shot of this end. There's kind of a debate underway here as to what to do.
Both these teams have over 7 minutes left, so there's lots of time. The end and a half to go.
What happens if a team runs out of time?
Well, they may lose. I say may lose. It depends on the rule that the association is using. If they're down and they run out of time, they lose.
I'm getting ready for World Seniors, and the WCF rule is you lose. You run out, you're done. Now, that was not a lot of ice. So we've got a guard. They're guarding a rock that's, top 8 foot. I don't think you're going to win the end in the 8 foot, Jerry.
No. No. Not if Dale Curtis keeps throwing like she's been throwing.
Which is why I think I might now be aggressive and get in there. Maybe Dale thinks it's one rock too soon.
Yeah.
Rosemary Gowman.
Oh, this is plan B. Oh, not good.
Now I would have drawn for sure.
She's been a little bit wide on that shot a couple times today. Just pops it out and runs down the ice. She needed to hit some yellow. I think she would agree with that.
No, Kerri Miller just tapped on the center line in front of the house. I don't get that. Because if they put up a center line guard, you know what Dale's going to do? She's going to be around.
Yeah.
She's going to run down here to make that shot.
This is just in the 8 foot, just off the 12 foot. So there's a whole bunch of house left there to draw to.
And maybe it's my mistake. Maybe I saw something that really isn't the called shot. Let's find out. Clockwise rotation. And you see Kerri Miller's got her brush on the top 12 foot. I think that's where she wants it to stop. Well, I'm going to be shocked if Dale doesn't put her brush down and literally sprint to this hack and get ready to throw that clockwise draw.
Well, she's sprinting down the ice. Got the broom in position to draw around those rocks to the top 4 foot.
If she can put this just inside the 4 foot, maybe close to the top of the button, it's going to be awfully difficult for BC to make anything out of this. The only thing that Skip Klebe can do is to draw to it and cut down the scoring area. But the way Dale's been drawing, she can draw to just about anything.
She's had great draw weight today.
Oh, she sure has.
So our team has jumped on this a little bit, on and off. They like the weight. We got lots of room, lots of room.
I don't think that's going to bury.
No. We jinxed her.
We did. She attempted the shot that we called, but
and with the right weight, she might have been very close, but she was back 12 foot.
It's that execution thing.
Okay, your turn. And again, Janet Klebe tapped top 12 foot. And there's lots of room with the other turn to draw around those yellow rocks on the other side. Lots of room. Sweepers are working it hard.
Pulled the string.
So Dale's drawing for 1 against, I'm thinking 2.
I think so. Who placed that camera?
Me.
All right.
We have another game complete. Alberta over Prince Edward Island.
Last shot of end number 7. Delivered by Skip Dale Curtis of Ontario. Score tied. BC line 2.
Sweepers are working hard in this. Line looks fine. She needs full 8 foot.
Now, this may not be all bad.
No.
What's your philosophy? And I always like to ask teams this. It's the quintessential question in curling. Would you rather come home 1 up without last rock or 1 down with last rock? And maybe that went through Dale Curtis's mind that, if I just want to make sure that they don't score 2. I'm quite happy coming home 1 down with last rock. We'll ask her after the game.
We'll give her the big interview.
We will. So BC is up 1, playing end number 8 here in the semifinal game, women's division, Canadian Masters.
And over in sheet 7, we have Northern Ontario, Al Hackner, beating Jim Wilson from Saskatchewan by a score of 6-3. Al Hackner will go on to the gold medal game and play against Alberta. We'll be doing that game tomorrow afternoon. We've seen these two teams play all week and expect a really good game. Well, that game will be on Rogers TV, local channel 9. It'll also be on facebook.com/Rogers Guelph. All of you across the country will be able to access that game by going to Rogers Facebook feed, where they'll be streaming that game as well.
So Ontario needs 2. Ontario playing the Red Rocks.
So they were playing around that center guard, Bill?
They were. They were trying to get around it. Skip Klebe from BC wants to make it go away, which is exactly what happens. So now we see Dale Curtis attempt that same shot, get around that center line guard, that yellow stone belonging to BC.
Interesting strategy.
Well, they're going to get around, or they're going to get past it. They're not going to get around it in any way. A little bit of movement now. Oh, it's not bad. Better than a slap shot in the mouth with a frozen hockey puck.
You can see it's got an edge around that center rock. Quiet weight, working hard in this rock.
Oh, pretty good shot,
Yep.
but of course it's behind the tee line, so that's a ray of sunshine for Team Ontario.
Dale's asked her to just tap that one back a foot or so.
Ontario needs 2 to win. And they are working this as well. They should. It is going to be close to the guard. It's more of a question of weight than anything.
That's okay. Got 2 rocks out front now, both of them in usable positions. Janet Klebe has to decide what she wants to do. She's decided to tap her yellow one up. Leaves that red one in a very good position, though.
If she taps her yellow one up, it's sort of the philosophy, best defense is an offense.
Yeah. She's got a pretty good hitter here. She could play the double peel on that front one and open up the... Line looks pretty good here.
Oh, there's the tap. Top 4 foot, pretty good spot.
It's a good spot for sure.
Dale feels she needs a path into those rocks, so she'll ask Brenda to rearrange that front furniture. Well, we see the yellow rock that was near the back of the 4 foot was disturbed somewhat, but the yellow rock that's at the top of the 4 foot is still the rock that's going to be problematic for Team Ontario.
It's open now. Janet Klebe from BC has requested that her third come down and tap that rock. Sweeping this one hard.
As we've seen so often, it's over curling. There is the opening that Dale's been searching, literally and figuratively.
We need Rosemary to make this shot. You don't have to wonder how Janet's feeling.
Yeah, she gave it that darn it look.
Yeah, pretty expressive.
Oh, she didn't pop this one. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, looks good. Out of her hand for sure.
And Ontario moves into the shot position.
Behind
cover. Not only that, but rocks that are overlapped.
Excellent shot from Rosemary Gowman.
Neither of those two rocks, the red or the yellow that are just off the top 12 foot to the right of the center line, can be used to remove that red Ontario stone that's top 4 foot. That was a really good shot.
There you can see a good angle of it there.
Right.
Overlapping rocks that one's buried.
Or as Russ Howard would say, exactly.
This one looks really light. They're sweeping it hard. Now we have 3 overlapping guards.
So Dale has to be thinking right now, I've got the game tied, so how do I win it? Where do I put the rock? You don't want to let BC off the hook here. So again, rock placement, Jerry.
Well, top 4, quarter around would be really nice.
Ooh, yes. We're just not seeing a heck of a lot of curl.
No, it seems to be this sheet's straighter than sheet 4 that we've watched.
Sheet
for
4,
sure.
That's right. Yep. Well, again, Rosemary's not narrow.
She's got a lot of weight here.
Now, that would have not been too bad if she would have been able to stay in the house.
Just a little bit too much weight. Or set it a little outside. I'm not sure which. Couldn't see her line.
Well, again, she wasn't narrow.
No, definitely wasn't narrow.
Now, Skip Klebe has to be very careful here, because if this rock, if she gets a little bit out and she puts it on the center line and gives Dale a chance to have a little bit of a downweight hit and roll, it could cost her the game.
Yep.
So again, rock placement.
And this is her turn that she tends to put it a little outside on as well.
8th end, semifinal. BC up 1.
And she did put that one outside, and it is tracking. Tracking. It's going to raise that red one in and roll over. Ontario has the winning points in the rings.
Yes, they do.
Thank you.
Timeout, Upper Canada.
Well, Ontario has 2.5 minutes left. This is their second timeout. This is their big shot. Where do they put this one? Put this in the right space, and
this is not so much where do we want to put the rock, it's what shot is left for Janet Klebe. What's her shot to get out of this? We got to stop that. Make Janet throw the most difficult shot possible.
See, by putting one somewhere in the top 12 foot, they don't need it that deep. That takes away this side of the sheet, forces her to the other side of the sheet. Haven't played out there for a while.
I think that's what I would leave. I'd force Skip Klebe to play a clockwise draw. Well, you can tell the fans here at the Guelph Curling Club are kind of on the edge of their seat as we play these last two Skips Rocks. Semi-final.
We can hear the noise level increasing in the rink, that's for sure.
And that's at the bar, I think.
So Dale's in the hack. Rock's on the way. Sweepers are lightly dusting it. Now they're heavily dusting it. The rock is curling. Curling big. Going deep. So that rock didn't do anything to help Dale Curtis.
No, it did not take the counterclockwise draw away, and that's what Skip Klebe, I'm sure, wants to play. Oh, you got to give that shot to the brushers.
They were cleaning that all the way too.
Yeah,
maybe it was a line thing. I don't know. They're calling, but even if they touched that yellow one, it probably would have been a good thing, actually.
Well, better than this. Well, Janet Klebe has to make this shot, obviously.
She's got a lot tighter ice than Dale had. Dale had about 8 inches more ice than this one.
Ontario has more than enough rocks in the house to win, but 2 of them are in the 12-foot.
So Janet Klebe needs a piece of the 4-foot to force Dale Curtis to throw her last rock. And here it comes. Looks like a very tight line.
Oh, gee.
Very tight line.
Oh, I think she's all over everything. Now it's a case of where the rocks get bumped.
Nah, she's hit the front one. It's not even close. Dale doesn't have to throw her last rock.
Now you see, that's why Dale allowed them to take one.
Yeah.
Come home down one.
So that's a score of 4 for Dale Curtis and Team Ontario. They win that game, and they'll go on to the gold medal game, playing against Saskatchewan tomorrow. We'll have that game on the air at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, broadcast by Rogers Television on local channel 9. It's also available on Facebook/Rogers Guelph, across the country and across the world, actually.
I'm sure they'll be watching everywhere.
So that was a interesting game, Bill. They had opportunities on both sides. BC controlled that game early and then give it back to Guelph.
And certainly Dale Curtis made great shots to keep it close and then push Ontario ahead. It is a team effort, but boy, when you've got a skipper that can make those shots, it makes all the difference in the world. Again,
Dale made some fantastic shots early. A nice draw, a hit through a port, and kept this team in there.
looking forward to the gold medal games tomorrow.
It's been a pleasure, and we'll sign off tonight. Thanks for everyone for listening.
Women's section, the games tomorrow, gold and bronze, are at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Beyond, yeah, I know. I knew that was going to cost somebody a lot of money, okay? By the way, yes, thank you. Rogers Cable.